Good evening. This presentation is to give you some information about Palmview High School and its school facilities, campus evaluation, and a facilities update proposal for the school board in regards to the facilities at Palmview High School, which is one of the high schools at La Joya Independent School District. During this presentation, we're going to be covering campus evaluation, the facilities condition. Does it provide a supportive educational environment for our students? Does the school building provide appropriate space for educational programs? Does the building house a reasonable number of students, or is it an overcrowded building? Does the school building provide a safe environment? And is the school building in need of extensive remodeling or repairs, or additional buildings needed to be able to house the current student population? Additionally, while conducting our evaluation of Palmview High School, I'm going to be looking at whether the school building is too small based on commissioner's rules. Does the school building provide a space for adequate improvements, parking, playfields? Does the school building accommodate the changes in educational programs? And compared to other school building facilities, is Palmview High School better, worse than average overall? And of course, the proposal to the school board and community for school building improvements that are needed at Palmview High School. Palmview High School facility conditions. Palmview High School is one of 3 high schools of La Joya Independent School District. It was built and opened for operations during the school year of 2008-2009 in order to accommodate the rapidly growing student population that surrounds our community that feeds students into the La Joya ISD. La Joya ISD services several small cities that surround the city of La Joya, and Palmview High School was built specifically to service the area of Palmview, Texas. It mainly serves students from that city, and it goes also to the dividing zone with Mission, Texas. Currently, Palmview High School houses close to 2,400 students, and it is located at 3901 North La Joma Road in Mission. We do have a Mission zip code, however, we do belong to La Joya ISD. The condition of the school buildings at Palmview High School can be described as well-maintained, clean, and one that provides a welcoming environment for our students, teachers, staff, and community members. However, as many of Texas school buildings, it is not perfect, and it has areas that need improvement and that need to be addressed in order to service our students at 100% and in every area, especially educational and accommodating the growing population of the area. In this slide, you see a front view picture of Palmview High School, and basically that's the entrance of the building. It looks like a small community college. It's a building that has the infrastructure that looks and has the feel of a small community college with many buildings connecting to the main infrastructure, which is the one that you're seeing right now. Does Palmview High School provide a supportive educational environment for our students? As you saw on the previous slide, Palmview High School building has a unique design that provides students with the experience of a higher education of a small community college. The architectural design is such that it resembles that of a community college with science building, a career and technology building, a fine arts building. All the buildings are separate from each other, separate from the main building, which is the one that you saw on the previous slides, and I will be showing you several pictures of the rest of the buildings in a few minutes. And each building has its own identity. The ones for the fine arts, that's where the dance and folklorico teachers and classes are housed. The program, the mariachi program, the conjunto program, the career and technology building houses the K classes, the wellness and nutrition classes, child development, BCIS classes, advanced computer classes, and so on. This is a great aspect that does not go without its challenges, even though it provides that feeling and that exposure to being in a setting that looks like a community college for our students. Our freshmen are not used to having the freedom of such a huge building, and going from a school, a middle school that houses only 600 students 600 to 800 students to a building that houses 2,400, it's sometimes difficult for them to adjust from and to arrive from building to building without getting lost in transfer and transit, and without getting late to their next classes. The following are some of the pictures of the buildings from the outside at Palmview High School. In picture number 1, you can see the outside of the cafeteria, and as you can see, it's a separate building from the main buildings. On picture number 2, you can see the entrance or one of the sides, depending on where you're looking at it from, of the same building. The cafeteria does connect with the Fine Arts building, where the Fine Arts programs are located. On picture number 3, you're able to see from afar the gymnasium, and next to it, adjacent to it, right below number 3, the number 3 in the picture, it's one of the Career and Technology buildings. Then picture number 4 shows you the side view of the technology building. Picture number 5 again shows you the gym, and you see opposite to the number 5, you see part of the library area, which is connected to the main building, which you saw the front of earlier in a previous slide. Picture number 6 shows you the connecting hallways that connect the technology building and the Fine Arts building, and all the way to the back we have the shop classrooms, where we have the welding classes, the auto tech classes, the classes that are more industry technology based. On picture number 7, you see the student parking lot, and we are almost already in need of having to extend that, because most of our students, even though most of our students do ride to school in the school transportation, a lot of our seniors are now requesting permits to drive and to bring their own vehicles to school. As I mentioned before, Palmview High School currently houses close to 2,400 students, and due to the increase in student population we've had over the last 2 years, Palmview High School now also has 8 portable buildings, in addition to the infrastructure that was originally built in 2008-2009 when the school was inaugurated. For the upcoming school year, which is 2014-15, we have a total of 6 additional teachers that are floating around from classroom to classroom, because they don't have an assigned classroom. I don't have a classroom that I can say, this will be your classroom for you. I am master scheduler currently at Palmview High School, and it's very hard to accommodate such an increase of student population. The district does provide me with the additional staff that I needed. However, I don't have the facilities where to house them. So because of that, we requested 3 additional portable buildings. Each portable building has 2 classrooms. I am still waiting to hear the response, and hoping that we do get those buildings. But in preparation, just in case that it's denied, the teachers that we have in without classrooms this year would have to be floating, and a plan of action has been already created, where they would be using the classroom of other teachers and having to move around. This is difficult for our teachers. I'm trying to make sure that it's not new teachers, because as it is very hard for new teachers to start their teaching career. So with that in mind, I try to find areas of study that are not as critical, such as the core areas. So it's electives that I do have as floaters this year. I am hoping to hear soon from central office with hopefully a positive reply, saying that they will be assigning us the 3 additional buildings, while they hopefully make plans to construct additional infrastructure for Palmview High School. In continuing with the review and the evaluation of the building at Palmview High School, the pictures that you're seeing in this slide are pictures from one of our special ed units. In the special ed units, we have the functional living skills unit, which is for higher functioning students, special ed students. We also have the daily living skills unit, which is housed in a different classroom, and we have the behavioral unit, which is for students that are in the special ed program that have behaviors that make it difficult for them to adjust to the school, to the bigger school setting, and they spend most of the time in this classroom. But I wanted to show you what it looks like for the functional living skills unit. The requirements as far as space per students, as required by the Commissioner of Education, are met. This year we are expecting an increase of students in these units. One of the units is going up to 17, and due to that, right before we left, early summer, right before we left for the break, I requested that the facilities department come and make some adjustment to one of the classrooms, and they actually broke one of the walls and created an additional connecting door to this unit. This unit, because of the needs of the students, has its own restroom, its own changing area, and a kitchen. And in order for me to service all the students within the guidelines that are required, I needed to separate the unit into two. So the fastest and the most efficient way to do it was to use the classroom adjacent to it and making a connecting door so that the students in the new unit would have access to the changing rooms, to the restrooms, to the kitchen, and to all the requirements that they need, so that they get the same services as the other students. I am still right now in the process of trying to hire a teacher that is highly qualified for the additional unit, and I'm hoping to have an average of 9 students in each one of the units. If it reaches 20, again, I would have to request from our district that they provide me with an additional staff and somehow try to see how I can add an additional unit to the building, which is going to be a difficult task because I already have 6 teachers floating, waiting to hear if we're going to be getting portable buildings. The following following slide presents you with 2 pictures of classrooms that are here at Palmview High School. And as you can see, it does meet the requirement for space to have a 22-to-1 ratio within the room, with room to spare. However, due to the increased student population for 2014-2015 school year, our student to teacher ratio is expected to be at least 30 to 35 students to 1 teachers in most electives courses, and at least 30 to 1 in our core area classes, with the exception of 9th grade. 9th grade, I was able to keep it at a ratio of at least 25, at the most 25 to 1, no more than 25 students to one teacher. And I try to do this because number one, the students in 9th grade are trying to adjust to coming from a small setting in the middle school to a high school setting where they have a school that is 3 times bigger than the previous school. And then add to that the additional state assessment requirements that the students have to meet, and the teachers trying to teach a class of 35 students that have to pass an end of course. It's challenging in itself to teach a 25 to 1 without having to add the added stress of having a 35 to 1 ratio. Here you can see a science classroom, and as you can see, the classroom has the facilities. I'm not sure if you noticed in the previous slide where I was showing you the other 2 classrooms, Palmview High School does have a lot of technology in the building. Every classroom has an IQ projector mounted, and the teachers in the core areas, all of the teachers in the core areas have access to a smart board. In addition, our ninth grade student population was provided with the iPad initiative. So every ninth grade, incoming ninth grader last year was provided with an iPad so that they were able to integrate, the teachers were able to integrate technology within the curriculum. The science classroom has all the necessary science equipment. There's the built-in projectors, smart boards. So in this aspect, Palmview High School, it's I think very fortunate to have all these resources, which some of our other two high schools don't have. Up to now, I have been able to work at each of our high schools over the last 10 years. I worked at La Jolla High School, the first high school built within La Jolla SD, and that school does not have the technology and the infrastructure that Palmview High School has. So the main question is, does the building provide appropriate space for educational programs at Palmview High School? The building at Palmview High School was originally built to house less than 2,000 students. For the upcoming year, Palmview High School is expected to have 2,350 students, and this information was obtained as per student rollover data from the feeder middle schools and student transfers. I contacted transportation. They have a projected number of 2,000 to 2,100. However, as a master scheduler, it is my job to make sure that I have accurate numbers. So I made sure that I contacted each feeder middle school, and my numbers are at 2,350. However, I predict that that number it's going to be even higher, by at least 50 and maybe up to 100 students, because of the recent immigration patterns that our area has been experiencing due to a lot of immigrants coming in from Mexico into our U.S. border cities. A lot of the population that crosses from Mexico does come to live in the area of La Jolla, and that's why our district has experienced such a big increase of student enrollment in the last few years. Palmview High School does not have enough space to house all the educational programs without being overcrowded. And as I mentioned before, this upcoming year, I have 6 teachers that are floating. So we do need to do a needs assessment to see how are we going to ensure that in the upcoming years, Palmview High School provides the space needed to house the increasing student population and have access to all these facilities that are needed. Again, the question is, does the school building house a reasonable number of students, or is it overcrowded? As I mentioned before, Palmview High School was originally intended for 2,000 or less students. We're currently expecting close to 2,400. Will the classrooms be overcrowded? Yes, they are going to be overcrowded. Our district is already looking into the possibility of building a 4th high school. La Jolla is the high school enrollment for the 2013-2014 school years was Palmview had 2,250 students at peak enrollment. La Jolla High School had 2,400 students, give or take a few more or less. And Juarez Lincoln High School, who was projected to have 1,800 at the beginning of the school year, ended up having 2,400 in January of 2014. So the 2014-2015 school year, it's going to surely be a higher enrollment rate and a challenging year for La Jolla SD because we are growing rapidly, and immigration from our border cities, it's increasing exponentially. So all of this is impacting our student enrollment in our high schools. Does Palmview High School provide a safe environment? Regardless of the overcrowded classrooms, the building does have very wide hallways, and the passing periods do go smoothly. Our campus has between 13 to 15 security officers, including a sergeant and several police officers assigned to us. Our district does have its own police department. Additionally, we have security cameras that are strategically placed and positioned in the hot spots where students gather to ensure that all areas of the building are monitored to the best of our ability. Administrators, along with officers and security officers, are assigned to all 3 lunches and passing periods at strategically assigned areas to make sure that all our students are safe at all times. So the answer would be yes. The Palmview High School does have and does provide a safe environment. The building with adequate monitoring does provide a safe student environment. Does the building need remodeling or repairs? And I think the question should be, does the building need additional facilities? As far as remodeling and repairs, the building it's in very good condition. Our custodial staff it's outstanding at keeping the building in top shape. They give it maintenance daily. The building does need to be expanded and an additional structure added to replace the 8 existing portables, and also the additional portables requested, 6 classroom, a total of 3 big portables. There is an area available where the project can be built if the district administration decides to take the next step to ensure that all our students are housed in appropriate educational facilities that are conducive to learning. Being in a portable building, really, it's just like putting up a band-aid in a cut that needs stitches. There is no question that Palmview High School needs an additional building with actual classrooms in the current facility, and there's the land does have the space to build it. However, the plan needs to be done and needs to be drafted, and it needs to be moved on as soon as possible, because with the increased population of students that we are experiencing, there will be a time where no more portable buildings will fit within the areas that we have, and it's more conducive to and effective to learning to have an actual building with at least 18 classrooms or more built to accommodate the upcoming growth for the next 10 years. Campus evaluation. Is the building too small? Is Palmview High School too small? Palmview High School as a whole, it's a very big building. However, it is not big enough to house the increasing student population growth that we are experiencing currently. It needs additional facilities to appropriately service all our students. Continuing with the campus evaluation, does the school building provide space for adequate improvements, parking, playfields, and so forth? The school building at Palmview High School does have the adequate space to provide for additional improvements and additional projects. The current parking facilities and parks are kept in good condition by our custodial and facilities department, and Palmview High School has designated areas of parking for teachers and students, and up until now they have been sufficient to accommodate over 200 teachers and staff, and students parking area has been able to accommodate the students that do drive to the campus. We are seeing a growth in the number of students that are bringing their vehicles to school, and it's mostly seniors because they either go to dual enrollment classes after school, or they work, or they have early release, so they are bringing their vehicles to campus. Up until now, we're still able to service them, but we need to start checking the trend to see what the increase is to determine whether we were going to need, or whether we're going to need to add to the current student parking area in the near future. Does the school building at Palmview High School accommodate changes in educational programs? Palmview High School does provide the possibility to apply changes in certain areas of educational programs, but not all can be addressed due to the increased student population and the lack of sufficient teacher classrooms to accommodate all teachers. As I mentioned previously several times throughout the presentation, we will be having 6 teachers floating this upcoming year. We have many teachers currently in portables, and this is not conducive to learning. This is not the optimal situation that we would want for our students. Compared to other school building facilities, is Palmview better, worse, or the same than average than the other school facilities? Considering the other two high schools that we have at La Jolla ISD, I would say that Palmview High School has a better building facilities than La Jolla High School and then Juarez Lincoln High School. And the reason I say this is because um, I have been at the three high schools, and while I was at La Jolla High School, La Jolla High School, in addition to being overcrowded because the building was built to house less than 2,000 students, um, the facilities are in dire need of repair, and in most cases, replacement of certain areas. They were they're they were built to hold 2,000 students. They currently house over 2,400, and there are repairs that need to be done that have been postponed for whatever reason, that they have never happened, and this has just been adding and adding to the deterioration of the whole building. As far as Juarez Lincoln, I was at Juarez Lincoln for a brief period of time, from June 2013 till January of 2014. I was an interim principal there. And the building at Juarez Lincoln was originally built to house 1,800 students. That was the projected enrollment that we were supposed to have when I started there, for that year. In August, we were expecting 1,800 students. However, by the time I left in January of 2014, there was 2,400 plus students enrolled and present at Juarez Lincoln. We had portables. The classrooms, every classroom had over 35 students in each classroom. So I would say that considering everything, Palmview High School does have the better facilities. We do have several portable buildings, but overall it does provide facilities that are in better shape, facilities that are with smaller classroom size, from teacher-student ratio, and we do have several portables, but hopefully that will be resolved soon. School board proposal for building improvements of Palmview High School. The proposal basically involves that the school board of trustees considers the additional building of an additional infrastructure in Palmview High School, whether it's an additional wing or an additional building separate from the main building, in order to accommodate the increase of student population that has been happening over the last years. We expect an additional increase of students due to the recent immigration patterns. The additional building or wing would need to be built during the summer of 14-15 to ensure the students are out on vacation and minimize classroom disruptions. A needs assessment that includes student population growth data over the last 5 to 10 years needs to be performed to back up the request for an additional building. Additionally, it might, depending on the size of the building that it's needed, and this would be determined by the needs assessment, then the determination will be made as how to finance this additional building, wing, or whether the district is going into a fourth high school. Then that would be decided whether it's going to be financed through a bond or through any other means, to be able to provide this this improvement for Palmview High School.